Hey, what's up everybody? BDO44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so this video can end at any moment because I am waiting on groceries once again. So if you've seen me have videos like that, you know it's just going to pop off and end. So, with that being said, a lot of talk, of course, about where KD can go in different variations of trade scenarios are coming about. And I think the Washington Wizards have emerged as a team that might be interested. Obviously, he's from the DMV area. So it make a lot of sense for him to maybe go back home, put on a uniform if he got to commit somewhere, you know, and you can't seem to get moved anywhere. Once home opens up, why not? I mean, it's not a great spot to go to, but when you consider what the benefit of going to Portland would be, um, it's kind of along the same lines in terms of joining Bradley Beal, a win now player on a long contract who's probably in a situation where he's just going to be losing for the next couple years until they put a team around him. KD can join that process and then put that player and himself in a position to team up and try to make something of the next 4 years of their careers. So I think that going to Portland is probably the best spot for KD based on the fact that Dame is a killer. I think he's somebody that I know if you give him the right situation, you can win. But I don't think too far away from that is Bradley Beal, and I feel like that's a very, very decent bet in terms of just teaming up with somebody that you can win with, who's going to have the same goal you have, who's going to be mature enough to go after it the same way that you do, and just try to make something of it. You know. Now, I personally think that hugging up next to younger and longer players is a good thing. In terms of like Chris Paul, for example, you go join a team with young players and just lead them, and that's a good way to go. So that's also an option. But I look at the Washington Wizards and I say if they make a trade like that, um, they're going to get depleted of their picks for sure. Obviously, the Nets are going to probably want all of the trade equity. But if you're going to trade for KD, there's a way to get it done, centering the deal around Kristaps Porzingis. I tried the trade tracker, and there's a lot of variations that work, which is why they are an attractive trade team if you're the Brooklyn Nets. Because you get Corey Kispert, a nice young shooter that they got. Since you got Ben Simmons in place, obviously you should always be looking for shooters that can knock down shots with a high clip. You can knock him down and put him in the trade rather, and he will be 3 years, like $3 million, something like that. So that's a really good contract, a young player with upside who's going to be able to kind of fit whatever the needs would be with a Ben Simmons led basketball team. So you put him in the deal as a as one of the key pieces because of the contract and the upside of the lottery pick. He was drafted last year, I believe. So it's one of those situations. It's like, all right, that's your value pick. That's the meat and potatoes of the trade. Kristaps Porzingis matches the numbers, and then you could throw in like Hachimura, 5, 6 picks. Um, they just picked up Monte Morris at $9 million. I think you could slap him on top of Porzingis and get a trade going that matches the numbers. Um, I tried Denny Advija and Corey Kispert with Porzingis. I think that worked or something like that. That got it done. Kuzma and Porzingis will get it done for the numbers. So there's a lot of different things that they can do if they want to make that happen. Um, the Wizards also have the ability to take back a Joe Harris if you need to get rid of that contract. Heck, they have the ability to take back Ben Simmons if you really want to go that route. Um, but I don't think they would. I think it's one of those situations where you bring KD and you match him up with Bradley Beal and you go to work. But I tell Washington Wizards this. I'll tell them this. Your cap is going to be trash if you were to try to make a deal for both KD and Ben Simmons, obviously. But when I think about what Ben Simmons needs, I would love for the second person he's looking to pass to be Bradley Beal, and the first person to pass to be Kevin Durant, for whatever it's worth. Now, I know that you'd be like, why don't you believe in that in Brooklyn? I don't believe in that in Brooklyn because Brooklyn's situation is a little different with Kyrie potentially out the door. Plus, I think of Bradley Beal as a better fit than Kyrie because Bradley Beal's catch and shoot. He's catch and shoot. He's exactly the type of player who's not going to take too many live dribbles but still puts up a lot of points, not taking away anything from anybody. I think Kyrie Irving's more of a guy who centralizes the momentum. Once he gets the ball, it stays with him, and then he makes plays for others, and it's all about him. And when he gets it, a guy like Bradley Beal can be a byproduct of the play just being broken, and he just gets to shoot, and that's his game. So I look at that as more of a situation where, Ben Simmons gets to control the ball more with Kevin Durant to his left and Bradley Beal to his right. So I just look at that as a little better fit. Bradley Beal's a bigger player, even though him and Kyrie are both not known for being defensive players. I look at the body mass and I say that's a better trio in my opinion. There are better ones than that, but of course Bradley's already in place, which is why Washington would be interesting to bring both KD and Ben Simmons in terms of the fit. I put the ball in Ben's hands and I let KD and Bradley Beal be the recipients of what it is that he's creating. And that, coupled with his defense, should make me a very serious playoff team, in my opinion. We wouldn't win the championship, though, but I can think of worse fits, including the one that they currently have right now in Brooklyn. So, just looking at different things, you know, if Brooklyn wants to really move on from both players, if I'm Brooklyn, I got two different scenarios in my head if I'm Brooklyn. The scenario where they really love Ben Simmons and want to build around him, and the scenario where they can move on from his contract and be very happy with that. Now, if they want to move on from him, I think now we got some trades that are actually possible as to where there weren't some in the past. Toronto may be interested, and I think there may be another team somewhere down there that I heard about. I can't remember exactly who it was, but they may be interested in bringing him in, so that might be a possibility. You move on from him, and of course things open up for trading for KD or what have you, so trading KD out of there rather. So, you know, possibilities are available for these teams. I think even though the waters are treacherous, you're starting to see new teams emerge to say, well, you know, I mean, a team like Washington's perfect because do they have a nice young core? It's okay. You know, in comparison to the other young cores in this league, they don't compare. And so very rarely do they have success in the lottery. So very rarely do they get the first pick or the second pick. So it's like we got a couple guys who are, you know, guys with upside but probably won't reach A-star level upside, any of them. You could package all of them together, package all your picks, and get you a KD on a 4-year contract and just ride out with Bradley Beal and KD on a win-now timeline for the next 4 years. Retool, make sure your farm system's in place, give them as many young talented players from different places as you can find, like the Lakers are doing, like the Warriors are doing, and you put yourself in a position to feel really good about the contracts that you have there on tab. So if Washington's on that type of time, I think they'll be happy with the success that they receive, because at the end of the day, they've been a very, very bad team for a very, very long time. So bringing in Kevin Durant and pairing him up with Bradley Beal does major justice to Bradley Beal's contract, and also puts you in a position, of course, to bring KD home and give him a teammate that he can win now with and run with for a while. So is it the best option? No, it's not. But it's a option that I could warm up to if I'm KD, because at the end of the day, I am going home. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing for everybody, because we saw how they went for Russell Westbrook, etc. But I don't think KD ever thought he would go home. I don't think he ever thought there would be an opportunity to go home, or that the desire to be home would ever come about. The Washington Wizards are a team he would never want to go to ever in life. But it looks like the door is open for that to actually be something he can consider and think about, and not worry about whether or not the team's going to be any good or any bad because of the nature of the circumstances. It's almost like, you know, this is the only place we can go to. So once you start realizing this might be the only place to go to, when you look at it for what it's worth, it's like, yeah, I can go to, like, it's mid-tier in terms of options for KD. It's not the worst and it's not the best, but it's mid-tier. And when you couple that with the familiarity of home and the ability to be around people or what have you that you love or what have you, I think it could potentially be a Chris Webber to Sacramento type of situation, to be completely honest with you. I think it could be that for KD. I think he could find a home in Washington that he never thought he would find nor need, because that's a fan base that's never had anything like him. They never had anything like him in their entire existence. They've never had a player that even remotely touches the level of Kevin Durant. So for them, I think bringing in Kevin Durant, the fact that he's from home, it's worth it. When you talk about things that I don't believe in, like sentiment and stuff like that, if you're the Washington Wizards, that sentiment is definitely worth it. For Kevin Durant to don your uniform in his career is like a championship for you and your organization. And you couple that with Unseld Jr. as the coach. Ironically, the person who came to mind as the best Washington Wizard that I could think of was Wes Unseld. And his son is in place coaching the team. And so I like him as a coach, is what I'm telling you guys. They have good coaching in place. And they do have assets to make a move like this. This is why I said I think Bradley Beal should consider going back, because they could bring him a running mate. That could be a place where at the end of your contract, you feel better about being there than you do right now. So I don't think Washington could pull this off. but I think it would be a great storyline if they did. I think it would be a great storyline bringing KD home. I don't think he would like it too much. I'm not going to sit here and think he would be excited about it right off the rip. I don't. But once he gets there, puts the uniform on, and realizes that he can win with Bradley Beal, which I believe he can. They can get some wins. They can really feel good about what they're doing. And with Unseld as a coach, I think they can win. Now, I don't know what they're going to do for the rest of their roster because that's a lot of salary you're bringing in. But it's a good problem to have for you to watch the Wizards. You're trying to tell me I get to build around old KD and old Bradley Beal. Now, granted, I would rather them be in their prime. But if I'm a Washington Wizards and I can't bring nobody here and I can't seem to get the first pick in the draft at all and all these different things, where's the harm? Where's the harm? When you consider what you're probably going to build over the next 6 years, 5 years, ain't going to be nothing special because you guys have trouble with that as we know. So it's like, are you going to tank for Victor? Okay. Do you see Giannis coming your way anytime soon? No. Do you think Luka's going to pick y'all at any point in time in the future? No. I don't see nothing for Washington at all. I see nothing. So an opportunity like this, you got to jump on that, man. If it costs 6 picks, 7 picks, pay more picks than everybody else. That's what I would do if I'm Washington. Is you got nothing to lose. You already got Bradley Beal on tab, and that contract begins now. KD with 4 years, that solidifies both contracts. The presence of one another can justify having them on tab, in my opinion. And it's only 2. It's only 2. You know how we feel about building around 2 max contracts. You can do it. You can totally do it. It would be better if you had both of their bird rights, but you know what I mean? KD and Bradley Beal just need defensive players around them. They can score. They're going to need some secondary scores around them, of course, but between the two of them, they can give you 65 to 80 points a night. Easy. All you need to make sure they have is wing defenders, length, facilitating point guards to get them the ball, stuff like that complements the modern NBA. Those two, if their defenders are right, they're going to take it as far as they can go. Now, whether or not they can win the East and stuff like that with monsters around like Joel Embiid and stuff, probably not. But when you have the presence of KD and Bradley Beal from possession to possession to possession, if the other team can't figure out a way to score, you probably won. So we could talk about Joel Embiid and all this, that, and the third, but they had better find a way to stop the scoring onslaught that those two prolific juggernaut scorers are going to provide. So that's the vision for the Washington Wizards. Not good enough to win a championship. I think it's one of those situations where you probably look at me and say, well, you would be willing to send him there, but you wouldn't be willing to send him to Toronto. Toronto would be better. He's not from Toronto. It's Canada, man. So the appeal for him going to a lesser team is the fact that he's going home. That's the key to it. So that's my little proposal, man. I do like some other situations a bit better, as you know, but if that were to happen, I'd like that situation for him too. Maybe not the first year, but as they retool second year, third year of the contract, if he can hold out and not be, too hasty to get the hell out of there, I think by the third year, they could have a championship level team if they build properly and keep together. So, yeah, that's, you could feel pretty good about that situation, man. Bradley Beal, KD, I like that. So, it is what it is, man. Just want to throw that out there. My name is BDF44. Thank you all for watching.